Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 2. Chapter 11. Liana POV. I am up before dawn. To say that I slept last night would be a joke. I have been tossing and turning and wrecking my brain for solutions. Accepting Nina's offer is not a long-term solution. It does not matter when or where Dad gets the operation. There will be bills to pay and I am the only one in my family that can do it. Dad is too sickly to get a loan. Mother has not worked in years and Leon, well, with his credit record he must consider himself lucky if he gets a loan for a lollipop. I have made a list of every living relative and friend that I know. And I intend to contact each and every one of them and beg for help. But before I can do that, I must have a job. None of them will take out a loan on my behalf without a guarantee that I will pay them back. I know Nina will agree in a heartbeat if I ask her, but I cannot bring myself to do it. She is already supporting me, and I do not want to take advantage of her good heart. There is only one person that I can think of right now who has the financial means to help me. And as much as I do not want to see him, so much more do I want my father to get the operation. I take a shower and wash my hair. With utmost care, I apply makeup and style my hair. I put on the only sophisticated outfit I own. It is a simple tight-fitting knee-length black dress with a matching jacket. I complete the outfit with sheer stockings and black heels. Satisfied, I look at myself in the mirror. I no longer look homeless or hopeless and I pray that it is good enough. I leave a note for Nina, take my handbag and walk to the Uber that is already waiting for me outside. I get out of the Uber and look up at the gigantic building in front of me. Silver Enterprises. It is the tallest building and right in the center of the PAX borders. I take one deep breath, straighten my jacket, pull my shoulders back and walk to reception. I would like to see Axel Silverman, I say with a steady voice and a polite smile. Do you have an appointment? The woman asks stiffly. No, my heart drops to my shoes and I say a quick prayer. But if you could please ask if Mr. Silverman is willing to see me for just a moment, I would really appreciate it. I'm sorry, it's a health issue, I interrupt her as my nerves threaten to overtake my last shred of serenity. Use the words pregnancy and Liana and I assure you, he'll see me. When I drop the word pregnancy, her eyes widen, and she picks up the phone. What's your name? The woman asks quickly. Liana Eriksson, I smile sweetly, and I swear she would have dropped out of her chair if she were not holding onto the phone. After a quick discussion, she puts the phone down and opens a drawer. Here's your visitor's pass, she hands me a card. Take the elevator closest to the stairs. Thank you, I smile relieved. And just to ease your curiosity. No, I'm not pregnant. But you said, the woman goes pale in front of me. No, I shake my head. I asked you to use the word. I never said I'm pregnant. I turn around and walk towards the elevator. I know I did not have to explain anything to her, but the last thing I need is a bored woman spreading rumors about Axel and a pregnant woman. I need his help. Antagonizing him with false rumors will not help my case. I am surprised to learn that there is only one button to press in the elevator, the top floor. This must be a private elevator. I close my eyes as the doors close and the elevator starts moving. My nerves are shattered. This was the easy part, and I can only pray that I have enough courage to go through with this insane plan of mine and not screw it up. I reach the top floor way too fast for my liking and I step onto the top floor. The office area screams sophistication and money with its wood and cream decor. My knees feel weak as I walk to the receptionist's desk and report my arrival. She smiles kindly at me and leads me to Axel's office. She knocks softly and opens the door, showing me in. I nod friendly at her and take a deep breath as I walk inside. Axel looks up and my breath hitches in my throat when his green eyes meet mine. He gets up from behind his desk and I must swallow hard as male perfection leisurely strolls over to me. His crisp white shirt fits snuggling around his shoulders and biceps, and I cannot keep my mind from wandering back to last night when my hands feasted over his torso. This is a surprise, he smiles at me, and my mouth goes dry. And you're already pregnant? I guess I didn't buy the pill soon enough. I'm not pregnant, I pull my hormones together and lift my chin. That was the only thing I could think of to get past your reception. But don't worry, I did inform them of my ruse. Thank you, I guess. He raises an eyebrow at me. Have a seat, he invites. Thank you, I accept gratefully. My knees are pure jelly from stress, and I do not know how much longer I will be able to stand. To what do I owe this pleasure? He asks as he takes a seat across from me. I need help, my voice is hoarse, and I quickly clear my throat before I look at him. I desperately need work, but with my qualifications, it's not easy. I was hoping you could help me find something. Help me understand, his voice is stern, and I realize I am now dealing with an alpha and not the man that I spend time with at the bar or in his car. You're asking me to deny one of my wolves a job and give it to you, a human. I lower my gaze and start fumbling with my fingers on my lap. I am acutely aware that this action betrays my lack of confidence and nervousness, but I cannot pretend any longer. I am emotionally drained and have nothing left to fight with. I have been taking hit after hit since I caught Wyatt cheating on me, and I am dangerously close to a mental breakdown. I wouldn't have asked if I had a choice, I say after a moment and look at him. With nothing left to lose, I tell him everything. From me leaving my work to be with Wyatt to being unsuccessful in finding another job due to my father's health condition. I will continue looking for work in the city and will leave these borders as soon as I can. I promise. But I'm in desperate need of employment in order for me to get a loan and pay for my father's surgery. Axel POV, there it is, I smirk victoriously. I knew it, she wanted money. Women think they are mysterious, but, in the end, they are all the same. Granted, she wants to earn the money, but it boils down to the same thing. You sleep with them, and then they figure they can demand the moon and stars. That does not change the fact that she is gorgeous, and the mate bond is making it incredibly hard to resist her. I cannot keep my eyes off Liana as she tells me her story. She looks absolutely gorgeous today and I have a hard time controlling my wolf. He wants his mate badly. I spent the whole of last night and this morning investigating her. It is a task Nick usually does, but since I intend to keep Liana a secret until I am sure of her, I must do the investigation by myself. Thanks to my research, I know she is telling the truth. I also know that she is withholding the truth about her brother. He is not good company to keep, and I do not want him near my borders. The more she talks, the happier I become. When Mia swindled me for money, I had to take it. I was not allowed to act on my rage, but this time I am presented with the perfect opportunity. I do not have to roll over and pay. I will test Liana. If she accepts my offer, I know she is just like the rest of her species, greedy. I will cover your father's expenses, I smile at her and the relief on her face is immediate. Thank you, she says gratefully. I promise I will repay every cent with interest. On one condition, her face falters when I utter the words. You will be mine for the next 6 months. I do not understand, she says hesitantly and frowns. It's quite simple, I smile as satisfaction nestles in me. You will live in a cottage on my premises and will be ready whenever I need you. To do what? Her eyes start blazing at me. Whatever I tell you to do, my voice is low as I lean closer to her. Including pleasures of the body. Are you insane? She explodes and jumps up. You want me to become your personal call girl? Locked up in a cottage until the desire hits you? That's slavery. You're being paid, I lean back and look up at her furious face. So, it's not slavery. It is prostitution, she hisses at me. And illegal. By definition, yes, I shrug nonchalantly. Or you could choose to see it as paying off a loan. We're just cutting out the middleman, namely a job. Why? She seems to be on the verge of tears. Why must we cut out the middleman? I would much rather work and then repay you. Because I don't have any other work for you, I reply. You have no other skill or qualification that I'm interested in. But I can learn, she pleads desperately. Please, I'll repay you triple and not double. Even if I must work for you until I die. Please, give me a chance. No, my voice is steady even if my heart softens a little as I listen to her begging. Maybe she is not like the rest of them. No, I reprimand myself. Do not fall for a pretty face again. I was not always this cruel and heartless, but experience has taught me to toughen up. What am I supposed to do when I'm locked up in that cottage? She asks as tears well up in her eyes. Lay in bed until you decide it's time for a quickie. Liana, I never said you'll be locked up, I say patiently as I get up and walk to her. You're still free to come and go as you please, but I expect you to be home at night. Also, you're not allowed to engage in any SL activities with other men. I'm not like that. You slept with me out of anger, I cut her off as I wiped the tear off her face with my thumb. I don't want you to do the same to me out of revenge. And I can continue looking for work? She asks through clenched teeth. Even within the borders? Yes, I confirm and put my hands in my pockets. And if I get a job, I can move out and repay you like a normal person. She asks hopefully. No, I shake my head. This agreement is fixed for 6 months. I need to think about it, she pulls herself together. Thank you for seeing me. Liana, I take her wrist and pull her against my chest. She looks questioningly at me with her beautiful blue eyes, and I kiss her urgently. I relish in the sparks of kissing my mate for just a moment before I let her go. You have 48 hours to decide. She does not reply as she takes her handbag and gets out of my office as fast as she can. Chapter 12 Liana POV I'm in a state of shock as I walk out of Silver Enterprises. This has not gone as I planned. I did not expect this in my wildest dreams. Honestly, I have not even thought of such a proposal. I was mentally preparing myself for so many arguments, but this was not one of them. Blindly, I walk into the first coffee shop I pass, and I take a seat. My legs do not want to work anymore. Neither does my brain. I order an espresso from the waiter and stare out of the window at the people passing by. I hate to admit it, but I am hurt and offended that Axel has such a low opinion of me as a person. But I only have myself to blame. If I had not behaved so scandalously, he would not have propositioned me. But more than that, I was rocked to my core when he told me he had no use for my skills. Is that how people see me? Is that why I cannot get any form of employment? Because my skills are minuscule and useless. The waiter places the espresso in front of me and absent-mindedly I thank him. If Lady Luck somehow decides to give me a break, I will be able to find minimum wage employment. And it will take years before I can get promoted to a higher position. It will be a constant struggle to make ends meet and repay such a huge loan. But even if I accept Axel's proposal, it is not the solution. Sure, Dad will get his surgery and in 6 months I will be debt-free, but then what? I will still be unemployed with little or no skills. I will be right back where I am now. I must better my life, but how? Out of nowhere, an idea hits me. If I am going to commit the ultimate sin and pimp myself out, I might as well go all in. I know what I am, and I know what I'm not. I might not be the brightest person or a qualified person, but I am not ugly. Axel is a Greek god of a man, and according to Nina, every female pack member's fantasy. If he can pick and choose among the women, why is he willing to pay so much money for X with an unskilled human? To me, the answer is simple: I am desirable to him. I do not even want to accept his proposal. It screams against every moral fiber in my body. Why not go all in? I am going to march up to his ivory tower and state my demands. If he accepts, good for me and Dad. If he does not, then I will ask Nina for help. Satisfied with my decision, I finish my espresso and pay for it before I walk back to Silver Enterprises. In contrast with my first visit, I feel confident when I walk to reception. The woman looks at me with hostility, but I ignore it. She must still be pissed off at me for cunning her earlier. I need to see Axel again, I announce. And yes, he's waiting for me. A moment, please, she replies through tight lips as she picks up the phone. I wait patiently for my pass and hastily walk to the elevator. To say that I am cautiously optimistic is an understatement. I know this is a long shot, but it is the only one I got, and am I not going to let it slip through my fingers? Even if it means selling my soul. I smile at Axel's receptionist as I walk past her and into Axel's office. I have my own conditions, I announce as I shut the door behind me, and he looks curiously at me. I will become your ex-slave or whatever on condition that you'll pay for my father's surgery and my studies. Your what? He frowns as he walks to me. You heard me, I say firmly and lift my chin. I'm not going to sit in your cottage and dance like a monkey for 6 months. I'm not an idiot, Axel. I know I'm average. I always have been, and I'm fine with it. But I refuse to remain like that. I want to better my life, and you're going to help me do it. And why should I? He smirks, and I do not miss the twinkle in his eye. The bloody man is laughing at me, but I do not care. He can mock me all I want, I am not backing down now. Because I am worth more than $175,000, I say with determination. Just because life handed me a raw deal, does not mean I should accept it and roll over. I want more because I am capable and worth more. I am in the prime of my life and am willing to sacrifice 6 months of youth for you. Time I will never get back for any amount of money. So, if you want me, you'll pay my worth. And if I decline? He crosses his arms in front of his chest. Then I will walk out of here and find a man that is willing to, I shrug. If a man like you is willing to pay for me, there must be an old fart out there that's willing to pay twice as much. You're bluffing, Axel hisses, and I am taken aback by the aggressiveness in his voice. Why would he care so much about who I sell myself to? No, Axel, I sigh and turn around to leave. I'm determined. You're not going anywhere, he growls as he grabs my wrist and yanks me against his chest. His eyes blaze angrily into mine and I swallow hard. He cannot possibly be this angry because I negotiated. You are mine, he growls from deep within, and his lips come crashing down on mine. The sparks from last night return in all of their glory, and my handbag drops to the floor when I throw my arms around his neck and return his kisses feverishly. There is almost something desperate in his kiss, and I hold on tighter to him. I want to comfort him. I do not know why and for what. All I know is that I have this uncontrollable desire to calm him down. It feels like a small eternity by the time he lets me go, and we breathlessly cling to each other for a moment. I accept your terms, he pants. What do you want to study? Art, I reply softly and pick up my handbag. I like to paint and draw. Sit down, he motions to the chair in front of his desk, and I obey as he walks around and takes his seat. This is my personal email address, he says as he writes down on a piece of paper. Mail me your father's information and I will take it from there. I also need all of your information to enroll you. I nod and take the paper from him. Wait here, he orders me brusquely and walks to a door that I notice for the first time. I slowly release my breath as I wait for him. I must admit, selling myself to Axel is not a punishment. Shameless, yes, but not a punishment. I know I have not been with any other man than him, but I have kissed others before and not one of them comes close to Axel. Including Wyatt, and I thought of him as the love of my life. Take this, Axel holds out an envelope and I hesitantly take it. Use it for a health checkup and get a prescription for a contraceptive. Any questions? Flabbergasted, I shake my head and stand up. This is moving way faster than I anticipated. I am still recovering from our kiss and am not ready for all the orders that are raining on me. A car will pick you up at 6 tonight to take you to your new accommodation, be ready, he orders. 2, tonight. I look at him dumbstruck. The sooner the better, right? He goes to sit down behind his desk again. Your father's health depends on it. Why, yes, I nod. Good, I'll see you tonight to sign the contract. You're dismissed, he says and ignores me as he continues with his work. I blink a couple of times before I place the envelope in my handbag and get up. My mind is scattered as I leave his office. What just happened? I walked in there confident and got everything I asked for. But somehow the tables turned, and I do not understand why he is so mad right now. Why do I feel like I have just lost this round? My bags are packed and ready by the time Nina gets home. I went to the gynecologist and got a clean bill of health as well as 6 months worth of birth control. There were still $500 left after I paid the doctor, and I used that money to buy extra toiletries and perfume. I was going to spend it on new underwear, but I remembered that I had never worn the lingerie that I bought for my honeymoon. I do not even know if Axel would care about my underwear or appreciate the delicate items that I carefully selected over time. But it is not for him, I am doing this for me. It is like mother always said, do it properly or do not do it at all. And even though I am doing a shameful thing, I will do it properly. I will prove to Axel that I am worth every cent he spends on me. I place the bouquet of flowers on the coffee table next to the box of chocolates I bought for Nina with the money that was left over. I will never be able to truly repay her for everything she has done for me, but this is the only way I can show her my appreciation. What's this? She looks at me with big eyes. Please don't tell me it's from Wyatt and he wants you back. No, I laugh nervously as I go sit on the couch. I bought it for you as a thank you. It's beautiful, she exclaims joyously as she smells the flowers. But you didn't need to do that. You should save your money. About that, I rub my neck awkwardly. I managed to find a job. You did? Nina asks excitedly as she comes to sit next to me. That's awesome. Tell me everything. I got a job as Axel's personal assistant, I lie. You're joking, Nina looks at me flabbergasted. You're going to work at Silver Enterprises. Not exactly, I avoid eye contact. Lying to her is the last thing I want to do. I will be assisting him after hours. I don't understand, Nina says suspiciously, and I look at her. I went to him and told him everything, I explain. I asked him to help me to get a job within the borders until I can get something in the city. He must have felt sorry for me because he created this position until I can find something else. I guess that makes sense, Nina says after a while. It does. I gape at her and quickly pull myself together. I mean, yes, it does. As Alpha, he is responsible for the pack members, and after what Wyatt did to you, Axel must feel that it's his responsibility to help you get back on your feet. Nina reaches over and picks up the box of chocolates. So, what do your duties include? Honestly, I'm not sure, I chuckle nervously. I'm allowed to do whatever I want during the day but must be at home when he returns from work. He said I will be living in a cottage, but I have no idea where it is or how it looks. I guess it would be taking notes and typing emails. That kind of thing. Or ironing his shirt and bring him coffee. Nina wiggles her eyebrows as she puts a piece of chocolate in her mouth. As long as I don't have to wash his underwear, I roll my eyes and Nina bursts out laughing. What about your father? She asks seriously after our laughter died down. Taken care of, I smile. Axel gave me a loan. Damn, that's generous, Nina widens her eyes. Yeah, I shrug. He must feel really bad. But I'm not complaining. My dad is getting the help he needs and that's all I care about. Can I come and visit you? Nina asks. Well, I roll my eyes. The moment I know where I live, I'll send you the location. There is a knock on the door, and I take a deep breath as I stand up. That's my ride. Nervously I rub my palms against my jeans. Wish me luck. I'm going to miss having you around, Nina hugs me. Not as much as I will miss you, I hold tightly onto her. But look on the bright side. I'm not moving to the city just yet and we can still see each other daily. Hey, how about we meet for lunch tomorrow? My treat. Deal, Nina smiles as she lets go of me. Come on, I'll help you carry your luggage. You can't let your boss wait for you on your first day. I take a deep breath and gather my bags. Why do I suddenly feel that I am making a huge mistake? Chapter 13 Liana. I cannot stop fumbling with my fingers as we drive to wherever Axel lives. Truthfully, I am ashamed of how little I know about this pack. Especially if you keep in mind that I was going to make this place my forever home. Maybe that is the reason why Wyatt turned to Gwen. She understands everything pack related, and I did not even make an effort to learn it. I should have paid more attention to Wyatt and his interests. If I showed more attentiveness, he would not have to turn to another woman to satisfy that need. What's your name? I ask the driver to distract my thoughts. Drew, he smiles at me in the rearview mirror. I'm an Omega and Axel's personal driver. Is that all you do? I ask curiously. Drive him around. Mostly, he chuckles. Don't you get bored? I frown. It's not as if Axel travels all the time. I love my job, he replies. Cars are my passion. I'm in charge of the Alpha family's fleet. Service, maintenance, washing it. You name it, I do it. What about you? What's your title? Discover related topics. I think about you thinking the girls about you slave, I guess. I laugh softly at his indignant stare. I'm kidding. I'm his after-hours assistant. I guess the workload is too much to accomplish in a day. I'm glad he finally got someone, Drew nods. As his driver, I know what time he leaves the office, and believe me, it's inhumane how hard he works. I didn't know that, I frown slightly, and I cannot understand why I suddenly feel sorry for Axel. What do I care about how hard he works? Don't worry, Drew chuckles. I'm sure Axel won't work you to death. Tell me about the cottage, I change the subject. You'll love it, he smiles. You and I will be neighbors, well, sort of. There are numerous cottages behind the mansion and all employees stay there. Like a community. I ask eagerly. You can phrase it like that, he replies. But your cottage is the most secluded and closest to the mansion. It has not been occupied in years. Betanik stayed there but moved out when he found his mate. You weren't kidding when you said mansion, I murmur as I stare at the building in awe. It is like a scene straight from Hollywood. I am certain that if I walk inside, I will find celebrities walking around with glasses of champagne and gorgeous young girls parading in bikinis around the swimming pool. That's the Alpha house, Drew explains. Axel and his parents live there. Just the three of them in that enormous house. I gape at him. Axel is an only child, he continues. If he had siblings, they all would have lived there. This place is too good to be true, I mumble as I look at the passing scenery. We are surrounded by trees and overgrown vegetation. I swear if I look closely, I might see fairies or the seven dwarfs. It's beautiful, all right, Drew says with pride. Luna is meticulous about the grounds. She loves gardening. But be warned, you're not allowed to wander these parts alone. Why? I grin. Is the big bad wolf hiding there? As a matter of fact, yes, Drew says seriously, and I look at him in shock. I was only making a joke, I say weakly. I know, he nods. But I'm not. Axel's girlfriend was murdered in these woods. You're shitting me, I cry out. When was that? About 6 years ago, Drew replies solemnly. They never caught who did it. I'm never leaving my cottage, I shiver slightly. You'll be safe as long as you stay out of the woods, Drew chuckles. You don't need to warn me twice, I say sincerely. Here we are, Drew announces as he stops the car. Curiously I get out and walk towards the cottage. This is beautiful, I whisper in awe as I look at the wood and brick cottage. A huge tree stands proudly next to it and a basket swing chair is hanging from a branch. I follow Drew into the cottage and must blink a couple of times to assure myself that I am not dreaming. Everything is perfect. From the cozy fireplace in the living room to the old country-style kitchen. I walk to the bedroom and loudly I gasp for air when I look at the most romantic canopy bed that I have ever seen. The wood is solid underneath my touch and the white and green linen adds to the serenity of the room. Gently, I glide my hand down the bed's curtain which is tied to the post. Do you like it? Drew asks behind me. Like it? I turn around to face him. I love it. Who decorated it? That would be Maddie, he places my luggage on the floor. She's in charge of decor and anything that involves fabric and paint. She's also the event planner for the Alpha House. I don't know her, but she's magnificent. I walk past him to the adjacent bathroom. You're more than welcome to tell her that yourself when you meet her, Drew smiles. She also lives in a cottage. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you, I turn to him. You will soon enough, Drew walks to the front door. If you need anything, my cottage is a mile west from here. Stop by any time you want. Thank you, I smile brightly at him. I appreciate it. After Drew has left, I explore my new living quarters with renewed eagerness. I cannot believe my luck. It has everything I need and more. Even the kitchen cabinets are stacked with food. At this moment, I do not care that I have a sinful contract with Axel. He deserves a proper daily for this. I already slept with him. It does not matter if I do it twice or 200 times. Yes, I know it is wrong and illegal. I am no better than a gold digger. I have judged women doing this my entire life. I have fallen from grace. If word gets out about what I am doing, I will bring shame over my family. But I have been the perfect little girl for my parents. I never got into trouble as a child or teenager. I did not even have a curfew because I never went out and attended wild parties. I had part-time jobs to help my parents keep a roof over our heads. I only made one mistake. I fell in love with Wyatt and one blink later and I was worse off than before. I am not taking advantage of Axel any more than he is taking advantage of me. This is a business transaction. We both know what we are getting into. Is it really so wrong? A car parks in front of the cottage and I run to the window to peek through the curtains. My heart leaps when I notice Axel walking to the door. I open the door even before he can knock. Hi, he greets me and for the first time, I notice he looks tired. Hi yourself, I whisper as I step aside so that he can come inside. What can I get you? I ask as I close the door. Something to eat or drink? Nothing now, thanks, he answers and sits down on the couch. Good, I smile as I go sit on his lap and start undoing his tie. What are you doing? Axel laughs softly, but he does not stop me. Making you comfortable, I reply as I scoot off his lap and start taking off his shoes. Liana, Axel bends over and takes my hands in his. A lot was said this morning, but this is not what I meant. You're by no means my hooker or ex-slave. I asked you to be mine, and that means I will treat you with the respect I would treat my wife. It warms my heart to hear these words and it makes me even more grateful towards him. I appreciate that, I smile softly as I free my hands from his and continue to take off his shoes. But you're misinterpreting my actions. This is my way of thanking you for allowing me to stay here. Do you have to be anywhere tonight? No, he sighs as he leans back into the couch. I'm done for the day. And are you expected at home for dinner? I ask as I take his foot and start massaging his sole. No, he groans softly and closes his eyes. I do not say anything as I continue massaging him. Where did you learn to do that? He asks lazily. My mother, I reply softly. She worked in a grocery store, and it was my duty to rub her feet after double shifts. You're good, he murmurs, and it is not long before I hear his soft snoring. Quietly, I get up and fetch a light blanket. I cover him up and hurry to the kitchen. I am no chef, but I did manage to master a few basic recipes over the years. My heart feels light and carefree as I make bacon carbonara with tagliatelle and a salad. I know it might not be the meals that he is used to, but this is the best I can do for now. Cooking for him was never on the agenda, but this is the only way I can think of to show him how happy and grateful I am for all of this. Agreement or not, I got the better end of the deal. Sure, I must be ready whenever the urge strikes him, but I am clueless when it comes to X. I know which part goes where, but when it comes to skill, I am a zero. It smells good, Axel's voice is thick with sleep. Startled, I swing around, and he laughs softly when he sees my bewilderment. It's only pasta, I shrug, and ignore his amusement. Would you like some? Please, he takes a seat at the kitchen table. Anything to drink? I offer. Water will be perfect, he replies as he helps himself to a generous serving. I place the water in front of him before I take a seat and dish for myself. Neither of us says a word while we eat, but the silence is not uncomfortable. Satisfied, I smile inwardly when he helps himself to another serving. Thank you, he pushes his empty plate aside. It was delicious. You're welcome, I stand up and start cleaning up. I'll help, he reaches for the plates. You'll do no such thing, I say sternly. I need something to do other than living in luxury. Luxury? He raises his eyebrows. What are you talking about? This place, I lift my arms to include everything. This is more than I could ever hope for. It's a one-bedroom cottage, Liana, not a palace, he chuckles. This is not luxury. This morning I was homeless, Axel, I say seriously, and his eyes turn dark. If it weren't for my friend, Nina, I would have slept in cheap motels until my money ran out, and then it would be benches in parks. This is luxury for me. I'm sorry, he clears his throat. I didn't realize. It's not that bad, I smile as I take his hand and lead him back to the living room. And I exaggerated a bit. I would have moved back in with my parents before sleeping in parks. Point is, I'm grateful beyond measure and I want to thank you. There's no need to thank me, he says as he sits down on the couch. You're earning it, remember. Yeah, I smile timidly as I sit across from him. But I got the better part of the deal. Only time can determine that, he chuckles as he pulls out an envelope from his pocket and hands it over to me. Take your time tonight and read it over. The moment it's signed, your father will be transported to a private hospital and receive the operation. Oh, okay, I stutter as I take the envelope from him. What do you want me to tell people when they ask me what I'm doing here? What have you been telling them? He asks amused. That I'm your after-hours assistant, I say softly as my cheeks turn beet red. Clever, he chuckles as he picks up his tie and heads for the door. Stick with that and thanks for dinner. You're not staying? I ask quickly and jump out of my chair. I thought, you haven't signed it, he points to the envelope before he turns around and leaves. I release a heavy sigh as I sit down and stare at the envelope. This is it. My absolute last chance to walk away with my dignity intact. But is my dignity worth more than an education and my father's health? Chapter 14 Liana. I stretch out lazily like a cat when I wake up. The last time I slept this well, was when I was engaged to Wyatt. And that was all thanks to his wolf, so I do not know if it counts. I throw the covers off me and am about to get up when my eye catches the contract that is laying on the bedside table. With a heavy sigh, I pick it up and read it for the 100th time. I battled an internal fight the entire night until I fell asleep from exhaustion. Arguing the pros and cons is like riding a roller coaster. In the end, I could not truthfully answer if I could live with myself if I sign it. It is deceitfully easy to convince myself the good outweighs the bad. But will I be able to look at myself in the mirror for the rest of my days when the 6 months are over? I get up, take a shower and get dressed. I fix myself a quick breakfast of muesli and yogurt before I clean up. I grab my purse and the contract and go sit outside on the basket swing chair. With my eyes closed, I swing myself and listen to the sounds of nature. More than half an hour is left before Drew picks me up to take me to Axel. I wish I had my art supplies with me. Drawing always helps to clear my mind and I could use that to make the right decision. But everything I own is still at Wyatt's house. I know I should fetch it before he throws it out, but up to now, I did not have the guts to do it. I look up in surprise when I hear a car approach and sit straight when I recognize Drew. "You're early," I smile when he walks up to me. "I know," he shrugs. "But I have nothing else to do. So, I figured we can pass the time together. Are you free this afternoon?" I look at him hopefully. "Yeah, do you need a lift?" He looks at me curiously. "I need to pick up some of my personal belongings at, a friend's house," I say as I stand up. "But I don't want to go alone." "Sure," he shrugs and together we walk to the car. He opens the back door for me, but I shake my head. "Can't I sit in front?" I ask pleadingly. "It's lonely in the back." "Suit yourself," he laughs as he opens the door for me, and I get in. I strap myself in as he gets behind the wheel. We do not speak a word as he steers through traffic. My mind is running in circles about whether or not I should sign, and the closer we get the more tense I become. "Ah," Drew grunts next to me as we approach Silver Enterprises, and I look at him curiously. "See that blonde crossing the street?" He points to a gorgeous woman, and I nod. "That's Angela. I cannot stand her. Ex-girlfriend." I tease. "Not in this life," he snorts indignantly. "She's spoiled and entitled. Not to mention a nuisance. But you'll learn that soon enough." "Why would I get to know her?" I frown confused. "Because she's in love with Axel," he sighs. "And whenever she's in town, she buries her fangs into him and bites like a tick. As his assistant, the two of you are bound to cross paths. So, she doesn't live here." I look at him. "You said whenever she's in town." "She's the alpha's daughter from a neighboring pack," Drew explains as he enters the under-roof parking. "And she only comes here to see Axel. She has it in her head that they belong together since she was 16. And Axel isn't interested." I raise my eyebrows. I find it hard to believe that any man with blood in his veins can resist a beauty like Angela. Like at all. The last time he looked her way, was when he was still in school, Drew replies as he parks. "Got it," I nod. "Now it makes sense." "What do you mean?" Drew frowns. "Let me guess," I turn in my seat to face him. "Angela was 16 and a virgin when they dated." "Yeah, so," he shrugs. "So, obviously Axel was her first," I grin. "And I am pretty certain also her last. She fell in love with him as a young girl and thought it was true love when they slept together. She wants to be his Luna." "But she's clinically insane," Drew protests. "Is that your opinion or has she been diagnosed?" I laugh as we get out of the car and walk to the elevators. "You don't understand," he gives me a painful look. "I saw her in action. Axel was still in school when I was appointed as his driver. I witnessed that relationship bloom and burn. Angela is deceitful and dangerous. And as an Omega, you must keep your mouth shut." I look at him sympathetically. "Thank you," he throws his hands in the air. "Somebody gets it." "Drew, I'm lower as an Omega," I roll my eyes. "Believe me, I do understand. About that," he looks at me curiously as the elevator door closes. Will you tell me how you ended up here? I mean, it's rather unusual for a human to work for the Alpha. I'll tell you everything this afternoon, I say as the elevators open, and we step into the lobby. But first I must see Axel. I'll wait at the car, Drew grunts and steps back into the elevator. Angela is at reception, and I don't want to see her. I shake my head laughing as I walk to reception. Whether I sign this or not, I know I made a new friend. Someone honest that I can trust. Come on, Shelley, Angela pouts. Don't announce me, please. I want to surprise him. I'm really sorry, Shelley, the woman at reception, replies. It's against policy and I can lose my job. Fine, Angela sneers and all friendliness evaporates from her voice. But I'll remember this. I promise you that. Hearing the threat, I raise my eyebrows, ignore Angela, and stand in front of the desk. Shelley recognizes me and hands me a visitor's card without me asking for it. Why do you let her through and not me? Angela shrieks as I take the card and walk to the elevator. She has an appointment, Shelley patiently explains. Just give me a damn pass, Shelley, Angela grunts. Behind me, I can hear the click-clack of Angela's heels as she marches to the elevator. Drew was right, she is not pleasant, and I have not even met her. Move, Angela orders me as I wait for the elevator. You're at the wrong elevator. This one is for private use only. That's not what my pass says, triumphantly I hold up my card for her to see. Well, I'm not sharing it with you, she looks down at me over her nose as the doors open. You can go after me. No, I can't, I step into the elevator and Angela gasps loudly. I have an appointment and I refuse to be late. Either you join me, or you wait. She gapes at me for a moment, and I smile sweetly at her as the door closes in her face. What a conceited bitch. She reminds me of every rich, mean girl that treated me like crap during high school just because they have money. Well, I had enough, I decide as I take out the contract. I get a pen, press the contract against the wall and write clearly underneath the section that I shall not engage in SL encounters with other men for the next 6 months. Satisfied with my decision, I step out of the elevator and walk to Axel's secretary. Juliana, I read her name tag and smile extra friendly at her. Just a friendly heads up that Angela is on her way. Are you serious? Juliana groans in pain. Why hasn't Shelley called ahead? Because Angela is a bitch and threatened her, I reply. It's official, Juliana sighs. My day is ruined. You can go through, he's expecting you. Thanks, I smile. And please note that I will lock the door so that he and I can conclude business and as a bonus, piss off Angela. She's going to hate that, Juliana giggles. Good luck. Thanks, I laugh as I walk past her to Axel's office. I knock quickly and wait for his reply before I enter. Axel the second Liana steps into the office. My heart starts beating dangerously fast. Since I left her cottage last night, I have been counting the seconds until I could see her again. I do not have words to describe how much I enjoyed last night. I was at peace and relaxed. It was like finding sanctuary after running for years. I never understood why people were so taken with the mate bond, but now I do. It is indescribable. I was about to say something, but when I saw the look on her face, I bite my tongue and watch her march to my desk and plant the contract in front of me. I added a clause, she announces with fire in her eyes. Either accept it or the deal is off. Good morning to you as well, I say sarcastically as I pick up the contract. That's still debatable, she snorts as she takes a seat. Bad night? I ask. Bad just now, she grunts. I grind my teeth to keep myself from smiling as I read her clause. So, I'm not allowed to engage in encounters with other females? I ask and look up at her. That's right, she nods. What's good for the goose, is good for the gander. I mumble, wiping my fingers over my mouth to conceal my smile. This is downright adorable to me. Sleeping with another woman has not even crossed my mind since I realized she is my mate, but I cannot tell her that. To her, I must remain the S**x-craved beast she takes me for. When she learns I am nothing more than a lovesick mate, I will be putty in her hands. How firm are you on this? I cannot help but tease her, and she nearly levitates angrily in her chair. Either you sign that right in front of me or you can tear the contract up and we're done, she hisses furiously. I see, I pretend to think, but my enjoyment is short-lived when there is a banging on my door. Axel, it's me, Angela's voice comes from the other side, and my wolf starts growling instantly. Axel, why is the door locked? I knew she was coming, so I locked it, Liana says, and I look at her in surprise. When and how did the two of them meet? Forsake, I did not even know Angela was in town. I'm busy, Angela, I shout. I know it is unprofessional, but I am too angry to care. She just spoiled a very entertaining moment with Liana. Wait your turn. Irritated with the situation, I sign Liana's clause and push the contract over to her. She smiles victoriously at me as she picks up the pen and signs. I grunt as Angela starts banging on the door again and I get up to unlock it. But when I pass Liana, I change my mind and turn to her. You're mine now, I smile, resting my palm against her cheek, and I lean in for a kiss. She does not resist me, and I revel in the sparks that ignite when our lips touch. I put my arms around her to pull her closer and intensify the kiss. But Angela's persistent hammering ruined the moment completely and I reluctantly let go of Liana. I'll see you tonight, I whisper as I kiss her once more. Do you want dinner? She surprises me. No, I shake my head. We will not be eating. She blushes slightly and picks up her handbag as I march to the door and unlocks it. Darling, Angela's cheeks are two red coals from anger. Why is your door locked? She glares at Liana suspiciously and I must master all my self-control not to throw Angela out of the window. I am not her darling. Because I'm working and you're a disturbance, I say brusquely, but she does not even register my words. She is too focused on Liana, and I do not like it one bit. Bye, Axel, Liana says, and Angela's eyes widen. You cannot talk to him like that, Angela snaps. He is not your equal. Your Highness, Liana gives me a wicked smile as she bows at me, and I burst out laughing. This is unacceptable and inappropriate, Angela loses it. Angela, shut up, I snap at her, and she looks at me with hurt in her eyes. But she's a human, Angela's bottom lip starts quivering. And my employee, I say firmly. And even if she was a half raccoon, this is none of your business. And that's my cue, Liana looks at me with dancing devils in her eyes. I want to go dumpster diving. Liana, wait, quickly I walk to my desk. We were so rudely interrupted that I nearly forgot to give you this. I take out an envelope and hold it out to her. She quickly looks at me before accepting it and places it in her handbag. Shall we meet for lunch? I ask. Sorry, I can't, she smiles at me. I already have plans. With whom? I ask as jealousy manifests. Just a friend, she shrugs and walks out. I take a deep breath to calm myself. Tonight, I will make sure she understands our contract. It clearly stipulates that she should be available to me at any time. The ink on the paper is not even dry and already she dismisses me. I want to know who she is meeting, and I want to know now. Chapter 15 Liana. I walk to the car with mixed feelings. I signed the contract, and I am confused that I do not feel dirty or devastated. In fact, I am calm about it. I guess I am not as honorable as I thought. That was quick, Drew says in surprise when I get into the car. We were interrupted by Angela, I roll my eyes. I am furious at Angela. Her behavior is despicable, and I would love to tear her a new one. But I am also amused and satisfied by the way Axel handled her when he stuck up for me. And you're right. She's deranged. Told you, he laughs heartedly. Do you have to report back to Axel when she leaves? No, I shake my head. I'll see him tonight. I'm on my way to lunch with a friend. I'll take an Uber home. But what about the stuff that you wanted to pick up? Drew asks confused. Another time, I shrug. I can't expect you to hang around for me. Nonsense, he argues. We'll do it after your lunch. Are you sure? I ask doubtful. Because it's really not urgent. Dead sure, he gives me a stern look. It also gives me an excuse to see my buddy at the auto shop. Thanks, Drew, I smile gratefully, and get out of the car. I'll see you later. Hastily I walk to the restaurant where I will be meeting Nina. I am glad I am wearing sneakers because it is quite a distance. I know I could have asked Drew to drop me off, but it is still hours until lunch. Now I am killing time and getting some much-needed exercise. At the restaurant, I request a table for two and order a glass of water. Eagerly I take out the envelope that Axel gave me. I am dying to know what is inside. Hopefully, it is information on my studies. As I take out a single sheet of paper, and a bank card drops onto the table. Frowning, I pick it up and notice it has my name on it. How is this possible? I unfold the paper and read it. Son of a bitch, I grunt as I place the contents back into the envelope. Axel opened a bank account in my name and deposited $50,000. In case of an emergency, as he puts it. I do not know if I should be grateful or suspicious. Yes, it is kind and sweet of him to think of me and try to help. But how did he manage to get it done in such a short period? I asked him for help a mere 24 hours ago. Personalized cards can take up to 2 weeks. And why would he do such a thing? What does he want in return? My cell phone chimes next to me, and I notice the email notification. Absent-mindedly, I open the email but sit up straight when I realize, giddy with excitement, I call my mother. Mom, I did it, I say happily when she answers. I got a job, and a loan, and Dad will be fine. Finally, Mom sighs in my ear. I was so worried when I didn't hear anything from you. Why haven't you called? Why aren't you home yet? I close my eyes and sigh inward. Pleasing my mother is impossible. It does not matter how well I do, it is never good enough. Over the years I have learned to live with it. That is how she is and has always been. I cannot change her, I can only accept her and deal with it. But sometimes, like now, I wish that she would notice my sacrifices and praise me. She can never know how I got the money, but I wish I could tell her exactly how much I am paying. Just for once, I would like to hear that I am good enough and that she is proud of me and that she appreciates what I do. Mom, I can't come home, I say with a tired voice. I just signed my contract of employment and cannot possibly request leave. But your father is gravely ill, she protests with a shrill voice. You're entitled to family leave. Not in the first hour, Mom, I say urgently. My boss is lenient enough to give me leave on the day of Dad's operation, but I cannot come home right now. It's always some drama with you, Mom huffs. But at least you got the money. I just hope your father understands why his only daughter cannot find a way to see him. There it is, I close my eyes and rub my forehead. The ever-popular emotional blackmail, and my mother is the master in that department. I'm sorry, Mother, I sigh. I did the best that I could. Fine, Mom groans, and it is as if I can hear her roll her eyes at me. Now that you have a job, you can start sending money again. It is not a question or a request. It is an order. I'll try my best, my voice sounds tiny in my own ears. But with repaying the loan, I won't have much to spare. Truth is, I am not earning a single penny and I refuse to touch the money from the account that Axel opened. Especially not to send home. I know you'll work something out. Mom is suddenly friendly again. Yes, Mom, I whimper and fight the tears of hopelessness. Mom, I must go. I'll talk to you later, okay? I close my eyes and take deep breaths to calm myself. Another water. The waiter sounds irritated, and I look at him. I know what he is thinking. I do not have money to order anything and is only wasting his time. Well, he is not entirely wrong. No, I shake my head and look at my watch. My friend will join me in about 15 minutes and then we'll order to eat. I'll come back then. He smiles friendly when he hears that he still has a chance of earning a tip. I sigh inwardly as I absent-mindedly start playing with the centerpiece on the table. My mother's words ruined my excitement. Just as I thought that things are moving in the right direction, she slams me down. There is no way that I will be able to work, study and satisfy Axel's needs. And it breaks my heart that I must yet again sacrifice my dreams. I have no alternative but to inform Axel that I no longer want to study. I lied to my mother that I have a job and she is expecting money. You look unhappy, Nina says, and I look up at her in surprise. Why are you unhappy? My mother, I mumble and try to smile. Oh, Nina nods and takes a seat. She knows everything about my family, including my mother's demands. I do not need to explain it to her. The waiter eagerly appears next to our table, and we place our order. What's up with the smile? I eye her suspiciously. I met someone, she whispers with twinkling eyes. And he's oh, so yummy. Do tell, I say eagerly as I lean forward. I can do with a distraction from my own drama. His name is Wilson, she sighs dreamily. And he's an accountant, and I met him at the gym. The gym. I gape at her. You hate to exercise. I didn't say I was exercising, she snorts. I had to drop off samples from our new cleaning range. I didn't even notice him, but when I left, he followed me and now I have a date. Good for you, I smile brightly. When can I meet him? Hold the horses, Nina laughs. We still have to go on the date. The waiter serves our food and I eat while Nina raves on about Wilson. By the time we say goodbye and go our separate ways, my mood has lifted, and my mother's demands were buried in the back of my mind. As promised, I tell Drew everything about me and Wyatt as we drive to the house that was supposed to be my wedding gift. Do you want me to go with you? Drew asks sympathetically as I take deep breaths to build enough courage to knock on the door. No, yes. I don't know, I look at him nervously. Got it, he smiles and opens his door. I'll stay out of sight but close enough if you need me, okay? Thanks, I nod and walk to the door. My entire body is trembling when I lift my hand and ring the doorbell. This is the first time that I will face him since he attacked me and Nina. Suddenly my mouth turns dry, and anxiety threatens to overpower me. I am about to turn around and leave when Wyatt opens the door. What do you want? He smiles devilishly as he lazily leans against the doorframe and crosses his arms in front of his chest. Are you here to crawl back to me? I am at a loss for words and my throat tightens up as he steps closer and reaches for me. Chapter 16 Liana, don't touch me, I hiss as I step away from him. I'm not going to hurt you, he chuckles as if I lost my mind. All I wanted was a hug. I don't care what you want, I pull my shoulders back as I gain control over my fear. I'm here to collect my things, nothing more. Things? He raises his eyebrows questioningly. What things? Cut the crap, Wyatt, I lose my temper. The sooner you let me in to collect my stuff, the sooner I can be out of here. I own everything in this house. His face distorts into anger as he takes a threatening step closer. Not my personal belongings that I acquired without you, I say adamantly. Yeah, well, you abandoned it when you left me, so, excuse me, sir, Drew steps up and cuts Wyatt off. I know who you are, Wyatt growls, but I noticed that he is less aggressive than a minute ago. Good, Drew smiles. Then it saves me time to explain to you why you should allow Miss Liana inside. Fine, Wyatt grunts after a moment of silence. You have an hour. I do not say a word as I walk past him and head straight for the bedroom with Drew on my heels. I make a mental reminder to properly thank Drew later. He is a lifesaver. I open the closets where I left my clothes, and my eyes widen when I look at its contents. I pull a jacket out and look at the label. It is 2 sizes too big. I drop it on the floor and reach for another garment and another. Every time it is the same result. It is not my size. None of the clothes are mine. Wyatt! I shout over my shoulder. Where's my clothes? In a dumpster somewhere, he replies nonchalantly as he makes himself comfortable on the bed. Gwen needed the space. And you couldn't throw it in a box and return it to me. I sneer. Instead, you threw it out to make space for your fat s slut. Don't you dare, he growls viciously as he steps towards me, but Drew immediately comes to stand between me and Wyatt. Fine, he grunts as he glares at me. I close my eyes and rub my temples where a headache is brewing. Arguing with this brute is not going to get me anywhere. I should stick to my plan and gather what is left of my belongings and leave. Where are my art supplies and scrapbook? I ask tiredly. I am not even going to bother with other things like perfumes and lotions. Gwen would have tossed that out along with my clothes. How should I know? He shrugs. You never brought it here. You son of a bitch, I hiss as I storm to the study. He is only saying that to appear innocent in front of Drew. Wyatt knows very well that I brought it. Relief washes over me as I open a bottom cabinet and find my art supplies in the box just as I left it. I didn't know it was there, Wyatt says behind me, and I swing around in anger. That I believe, I yell at him. Because it's the only reason why it's still intact. Now, where's my scrapbook with my family photos? That I burned, he smiles satisfied. You evil, I shout beyond myself as pain stabs me in the heart. You knew how much that means to me. And that's exactly why I burned it, he yells furiously. Did you honestly think I will not retaliate after you rejected me? Do you have any idea how much that hurts? You cheated on me for years. I scream on the verge of hysteria. And you planned on continuing doing so. Silently Drew walks up to me and takes the box out of my hands. Let's go, Liana, he says softly. May everything you have done to me, come back to you, I sneer at Wyatt as I storm past him to the car. The second Drew pulls away, I break down and start crying. I do not mind the clothes or the furniture I contributed to. But my scrapbook. I spend endless hours on it. Are you okay, Liana? Drew asks softly. No, I sob. That scrapbook contained all the photos of my childhood. It's irreplaceable. Saying the words out loud makes it worse and fresh tears stream down my face. Growing up poor, we had no digital cameras. All we had was Grandpa's old film camera and there was not always money to buy film or develop it. And over the years, the negatives were lost. I'm so sorry, Liana, Drew places a comforting hand on my shoulder when he parks in front of my cottage. I wish I could help. You did help, I sniff. If it weren't for you, Wyatt would have never allowed me inside. Or worse, beat me up again. At least I have my art supplies. I wish I could do more, he sighs. Thank you, I sniff and get out of the car. Drew follows me and places the box on the kitchen table. Is there anything else I can help you with? He asks sympathetically. No, I shake my head. I would like to be alone now. Call me when you need me, okay? He looks at me urgently. I'll be there in a heartbeat. Thanks, I hug him tightly before I go to my room and curl up on my bed. It is nearly dark when I wake up after I cried myself to sleep. I look at my watch and abruptly sit up. Axel will be here soon, and I am not ready. I run to a mirror and gasp loudly when I look at my face. I can scare vampires off with this face. I submerge my face in cold water in a vain effort to reduce the puffiness of my eyes before I rush through the shower. I decide on a baby blue thong and a matching bra. Quickly I pull a dress over my head and comb my hair and apply lip gloss. I look at my watch and notice that he should have been here by now. Now what? I wonder nervously. Should I text him and ask if he is still coming? Not that I am eager to see him, but I am not going to sit up the entire night waiting for him. He could be working late. Or worse, be with Angela. The thought that he is with that dreadful woman is so disturbing that I shake my head to get rid of the image. With determined strides, I walk to the kitchen. Whether Axel is coming or not, it does not matter. It is not like I have dinner waiting. I gather my pencils and sketchpad and adjust the lighting before I make myself comfortable on the couch. I close my eyes for a moment to recollect the image before I start drawing. Axel, it is much later than I anticipated when I get into the car. The meeting was excruciating long. Did you take Liana to see her friend? I ask Drew as I loosen my tie. Ever since she told me she is having lunch with a friend, I have been steaming to find out who it is. Yes, sir, Drew replies. And? I ask irritated. Who was it? Wyatt Miller, sir, he answers, and I nearly choke. She went to see her ex-fiancé. I explode as my hands ball into fists. Yes, sir, but, just don't, I hush Drew. If I must hear another word right now, I will drive over to Wyatt myself and rip him to shreds. Red-hot anger boils through my veins. I want to kill. She blew me off for lunch to meet that bastard. After everything he did to her. Does she love him so much that she cannot reason straight? Thanks, I bark at Drew when he stops in front of Liana's cottage, and I march to the door. I do not bother to knock. Liana. I call angrily as I barge in. Over here, she sounds startled, and I follow her voice to the living room. She quickly places the paper down what she was busy with and looks at me with apprehension. Did I not tell you that you're mine? I growl as I grab her by the shoulders and kiss her feverishly. She does not move as my kiss demands submission and my frustration builds. Why is she not responding to the triggers of the mate bond? Does she love Wyatt so much that she can resist it? That is impossible and unheard of. I calm down a little when she finally responds, and I sigh contently. Her hands glide up my arms and she curls her fingers in my hair. Eagerly my hands roam her back and pull her closer to satisfy my need for her. But it is not enough. She yelps softly when I pick her up, but she does not say anything as I carry her to the bedroom. Softly I put her down on her feet and her gaze does not waver as I pull her dress over her head. My wolf howls in delight and my erection grows harder as I take a moment to stare at her. I have never seen such beauty in my life. Don't move, my voice is hoarse with desire as I remove my clothes as fast as I can. Axel, wait, she says softly when I pick her up and lay her down on the bed. No, I growl as I kiss her neck. I want you now. She gasps for air when I softly bite her in her neck where I will one day mark her. I am so ready to take her, but I pace myself. I sit up so that I can look at her and soak in her beauty. My hands develop a will of their own as they caress her from her knees, up to her stomach and her breath hitches when they finally come to rest on her breasts. Gently, I slide the lace of her bra to the side and free one breast which I eagerly claim with my mouth. She moans softly as her fingers cramp into my hair and I take time sucking and licking her knee. She jerks in surprise when I softly bite her nipple before I suck on her again. Axel, she pants as I slide my hand into her thong, and I can feel how moist and ready she is as I gently start stroking her and I move over to her other breast. There's something I should tell you. It can wait till after, I growl as I continue to stroke her. It can't, her voice is shallow and rapid. I stop my caressing and sit up. Then tell me, I say as I pull her up and undo her bra. The very last thing I want to do now is talk. especially if it involves a confession about her ex. But this is the second time she is trying to stop me. The doctor said it will take a week for the pills to work, she pants as I remove her bra and drop it on the floor. Is that it? Relieved that this is what she has to share with me, I push her back into the pillows and she lifts her hips so that I can remove her thong. Yes, she whimpers as I slide my hands along her inner thighs. Okay, I bent over and claim her lips. Her naked body against mine feels exquisite and I pull her closer. My lips trail down her jaw to her neck and I suck hard on the spot where I bit her earlier as my hand moves in between her legs again. Liana squirms and moans softly as I vicariously rub her clitoris. With every sound and with every move she makes, my erection grows harder and harder until I cannot stand it any longer. I let go of her and stand up to get my pants. I get a condom out of my pocket and quickly puts it on before I settle myself between her legs. Look at me, I demand, and she obeys. You are mine, I growl. Don't ever forget that. She gasps for air when I thrust hard into her. I close my eyes and enjoy her warmth around me for only a second before I fervently plunge into her again and again. By her breathing, I can tell that she is close to climaxing, and I go harder and faster. Her entire body tightens, and she moans from deep within. I thrust into her once more before my growl fills the room as my OM hits me hard. My breathing is ragged as I roll off her and remove the condom. I turn to look at her serene face. Why did you see Wyatt today? I ask brusquely and grin sourly as caution flashes in her eyes. Chapter 17 Axel POV. If you don't mind, I don't want to talk about it, Liana says softly as she avoids eye contact and gets up. I do mind, I grunt as I watch her cover herself with a robe. Look, Axel, she says tiredly, pushing her fingers through her long, golden hair. It doesn't concern you. I didn't break any rules or violate the terms of the contract. And I don't want to talk about it. She walks to the door and furiously I jump up to stop her. I slam the door shut and press her back against it. Liana's eyes go wide but I do not loosen my grip on her shoulders. Why did you see Wyatt? I demand but she stubbornly presses her lips together and only stares at me. Tell me, I lean forward and start kissing her neck. The agony of not knowing is driving me mad. And the fact that she refuses to tell me makes me nervous for the truth. Why did you refuse lunch with me to go and see him? I whisper as I kiss her underneath her ear and my hands find their way into her robe and rest on her breasts. Her breathing turns shallow as I toy with her nipples, and I can feel her relax. If she does not want to tell me, I will use the magic of the mate bond to persuade her. That's not what happened, she murmurs, eyes closed as I tuck and tease her nipples while kissing her neck. I had lunch with Nina. Hearing her confession is such a relief. I wrap my arms tightly around her waist as I hungrily kiss her. Never in my life have I felt so possessive about a person, and I cannot say that I enjoy the insecurity that comes with it. When did you see Wyatt? I murmur in her hair. Afterwards, her voice is a mere breath. I wanted to pick up my personal belongings. Liana, slowly I pull away from her. Why are you crying? Flabbergasted I look at the tears that silently roll over her cheeks. I told you I don't want to talk about it, she says angrily as she pushes me away with all her might. I didn't want to cry again. I cried enough for one day. What happened? I growl as fear clenches my heart. Did he hurt you? No, she whispers as she lowers her gaze. He broke my heart. Her words are like a bucket of ice being poured over my head. You still love him, don't you? It feels like my heart is pierced by the words. I do not know why this is such a surprise to me. I knew it. She is human and was engaged to him, those feelings do not disappear in a week. He destroyed my things, okay. She yells angrily at me. Irreplaceable things. Not even your mountain of money can fix what he did. I had a shitty day, and I don't need to take more crap from you. She storms past me to the bathroom and slams the door shut. For a moment I am frozen on the spot as I try and process her words. I am acutely aware that she did not deny or confirm her feelings for Wyatt. "Liana," I knock softly on the door. "Can we talk please?" "No," she sniffs, and frustration builds in me when I realize she is crying, and I cannot comfort her. "Open this door," I say firmly as I try and control my anger. I might be capable of compassion, but I am also an alpha. I do not take kindly to people disobeying me. "Go away," she shouts again. "Either you open this door, or I'm breaking in," my voice is low as I fight to control my wolf. Our mate is unhappy, and he wants to comfort her. And I am furious at Wyatt. I am not sure exactly what transpired between them, but I will find out and make him pay. "Have it your way," I growl when she does not reply, and I slam against the door with my shoulder. It only shudders and I groan inwardly. I am in a hurry to get to Liana. I am not going to waste time breaking through the door in human form. With a growl, I shift and ram the door. The door splinters into 1,000 pieces and I breathe heavily as I land on my paws in the bathroom. Liana screams at the top of her lungs and curls into a ball in the corner. Confused, I look at her as she buries her face in her hands while her entire body trembles. I take a step towards her, but she cowers closer to the wall and looks at me with naked fear. She is afraid of me. The realization is so painful and intense that it takes my breath away. She was not even this afraid when Wyatt physically attacked her. Liana POV. Holy shit. This is the end of me. I am going to die on this cold bathroom floor. In horror, I stare at the gigantic white wolf that is towering over me. Is Axel even aware of what he is doing when he is in wolf form? Can he think and control his actions? Or is he like any other normal wolf that only reacts on instinct? What if his wolf is hungry? Would I look like food to him? The wolf steps closer and I start to scream hysterically. I cannot control the screams or the tremors of fear. I cover my head with my arms as I press my face to my knees. Maybe if I do not look at him, he will not eat me. "Liana, it's me." Axel's voice is soft but urgent, but I cannot bring myself to look at him. Something touches my shoulder and I shriek as I jerk away. But the touch is warm and soothing, and I force myself to look up. Axel has shifted back and is looking at me with his green eyes filled with concern. "Don't do that!" I shout as I shove him hard against his shoulder and get up from the floor. "You scared the shit out of me." "I'm sorry," he looks confused. "I only wanted, I don't care what you wanted," I cut him off as the shock and fear make way for fury. "I wanted privacy. I thought I made that clear when I locked the door and told you no." We were in the middle of a conversation, he too is angry now. "You don't get to walk away in the middle of a conversation. I told you more than once I don't want to talk about it," I all but scream at him. "How hard is that to understand?" "But I want to," he argues. "I have the right." "No." I cut him off and take a step closer to him. "You have no right over my thoughts and feelings. I only sold my body to you." "Sold?" he growls as he squints his eyes. "What else do you want to call it?" I throw my hands up in the air. "Money is exchanged for goods. I might not be educated like you, but I do understand the basics of a transaction." "You're wrong," he sneers sarcastically and crosses his arms in front of his chest. "You didn't sell yourself. The agreement is only for 6 months, remember? That would make you a rental." "You're such an AE, I hiss at him, turn around and storm towards the kitchen. "Liana!" he shouts after me. "Stop walking away when we're having a conversation." "This is not a conversation," I yell back as I turn on the kettle. "It's a fight. If he can get technical with words, so can I rental." "Pfft! Are you always this hysterical when you're angry?" he asks from the door, and I quickly glance at him. "Are you always naked when you argue?" I shoot back as I take out a single coffee cup. I am too mad at him to serve him anything. He growls from deep within and I swing around in fear. He sounded just like that earlier before he turned into a wolf. Are you okay? He frowns when I only stare at him with a galloping heart. Yeah, yes, I push my fingers through my hair and turn around to make coffee. But my fingers are trembling so hard that I hardly can pick up the spoon. Liana, Axel's voice is soft and cautious as he comes to stand next to me. What's wrong? Nothing, I croak and clear my throat. I just thought you were going to change into a wolf again. Gently he takes my trembling hands in his before he pulls me into his embrace. A part of me is scared beyond measure, but feeling his heartbeat against my cheek calms me down, and with a sigh, I put my arms around his waist to be closer to his warmth. I do not know why, and I cannot explain it, but being close to him and touching him calms me down. Have you never seen a wolf before? He asks softly. No, I admit softly. Wyatt said I shouldn't, and after tonight I understand why. So, he never included you in any wolf activities? He asks dumbfounded. You never attended any tournaments or pack meetings? Of course not, I look up at him as if he has lost his mind. I'm human and not allowed to attend. That son of a bitch, he growls, and I jump in fear. Liana, he sighs and closes his eyes. Please don't be afraid of me. I'm sorry, I mumble and look away timidly. I can't help it. You're big and scary when you're a wolf. And you looked hungry. Hungry? He gasps and holds me at arm's length. Are you serious? I don't know, I shrug and feel myself blush slightly. I've never seen any kind of wolf. All I know is, I was afraid you might eat me. His jovial laugh fills the kitchen as his arms go around my waist. You're adorable, he laughs as he bends over and kisses me. And you're pestering me, I grunt as I push him away and take out another cup. My anger has simmered enough to make him coffee. Please put some pants on. You're a distraction. Oh, am I? His voice is sultry, and when I look at him, I unmistakably notice LT in his eyes. Yes, I clear my throat and quickly look away. So, if you want coffee, get dressed. I never said I wanted coffee, he murmurs in my hair as he stands behind me and snakes his arms around my waist. His hands slip underneath my robe and start roaming my body, creating havoc with my hormones. I want coffee, I say, but I sound unconvincing even to myself. How are you going to fall asleep tonight if you have coffee at this hour? He kisses my neck and my fingers cling to the kitchen counter when his hand glides in between my legs. It's decaf, I reply and gasp for air when he slips a finger inside me. Always an answer, he grunts as he switches off the kettle and picks me up. His lips come crashing down on mine before I can protest as he carries me to the room. He puts me down on the bed and slips on a condom before he settles himself between my legs. You were right, he grins devilish, his lips only inches from mine. I am hungry. I brace myself for the force of him entering me, but this time, he enters slowly and buries himself as deep as he can before he wraps his arms tightly around me. He holds me close, and I inhale his scent deeply as he steadily glides in and out. My nails dig into his arms as our breathing gets heavier and he increases his pace. He murmurs my name and I close my eyes as sweet release washes over me. Do you still want coffee? He asks before he kisses me and lays down beside me. No, I smile contently and nestle closer to him. He has completely drained me of every drop of energy and all I want to do right now is sleep. Chapter 18 Liana POV. My eyelids are still heavy, and I must fight them open. I want to sleep more, but my doorbell does not stop ringing for a second. I stammer out of bed and flinch as my sore muscles protest against the movement. Holy Mother, Axel gave me one workout last night. I know full well I am a novice when it comes to intimacy, but I swear, that man is insatiable. I glance at my watch and grunt as I notice it is only 7 in the morning. No wonder I am still this tired. Whoever is at my door must have a bloody good excuse. I'm coming, I shout as I pull a robe over my naked body and run to the mirror to quickly tame my hair. Damn it, I grunt as I see the monstrous hickey on my neck. I realized he had a fascination with kissing my neck, but I had no idea he was going to leave a mark. How am I to cover this in the summer? I grunt as I rummage through my closet. Thanks to Wyatt, my options really are limited. I am left with no other choice than a halter neck dress. The doorbell starts its annoying chiming at the same time as my phone rings. What is going on this morning? Hello. I answer without looking at the number as I walk barefoot to the door. Why aren't you opening the door? Axel asks annoyed. Why did you leave at 3 in the morning just to be back at 7? I snap at him. You could have spared us both the agony if you stayed. Is that an invitation? His voice is low and seductive, and I roll my eyes as I yank open the door. Stunned, I look at the 3 men in front of me. It's not you, I whisper. No, he chuckles. It's my men coming to replace the door. They phoned and said you're not answering the door. Only when he says the words, do I notice the door and toolbox they are holding. Just a moment, I smile as I quickly rush back to my room. Are you insane? I hiss as I gather the evidence from our passionate night and push it underneath the bed. You can't send them at his hour without a warning. One look at the bedroom and they'll know what happened here. Are you ashamed? I cannot tell if he is serious or teasing me. You're such a jerk, I grunt as I end the call and walk back to the front door. Good morning, I am a little out of breath. Sorry for making you wait. I had no idea you were coming. My phone rings again and I decline the call when I read Axel's name before I switch it off. The things I want to say to him at this moment do not require an audience. I lead the men to my room and hurry to the kitchen and turn on the kettle. Hello. A female voice sings from the front door and I close my eyes. What now? I take a deep breath and march to the door. A woman in her early 40s is standing on my doorstep, holding a pie. Hi, I greet cautiously as I wipe over my hair. I am acutely aware that I have not combed my hair or brushed my teeth. I am not ready to face the world and now I am faced with a step-forward wife. Her hair is tied into a perfect bun and her makeup is flawless. I'm Carol, she smiles brightly. Here's something to welcome you to the neighborhood. She pushes the pie into my hands, and I blink a couple of times to regain focus. Thank you, I pull myself together and smile at her. Please come in. I'm sorry, things are a bit hectic this morning, I apologize self-consciously as we walk to the kitchen. I wasn't expecting visitors so early and haven't cleaned up yet. Oh, I'm sorry, Carol says. I can come back another time. No, I laugh softly. I wasn't referring to you. I'm talking about the men fixing the bathroom door. Drew told me I shouldn't come so early, she replies. But I have been dying to meet you. Drew? I ask as I try to figure out how he fits into all of this. My husband, she smiles lovingly. I wanted to stop by yesterday, but he told me you were busy. I'm delighted to meet you, Carol. Instantly, I like her. If she is mated to Drew, I know we will get along. Would you like coffee? I offer as I place the pie down. I don't want to impose, she smiles politely. I only wanted to introduce myself. Nonsense, I take out another mug. I would love some company. In that case, you make the coffee and I'll cut the pie, she says. Carol talks non-stop as we enjoy our coffee and pie. But I do not mind it one bit. She is funny, interesting, and entertaining. It is not long before I spill my guts and tell her everything about Wyatt and how I ended up living here. The men have replaced the door and left hours ago and it is nearly lunchtime when Drew walks into the kitchen. You're home early, Carol looks at him in surprise. Axel is in a mood, Drew pulls a nervous face before he kisses her. Angela showed up at the office again. For reasons unbeknown to me, an uncomfortable feeling settles in my heart. All the women are in love with Axel. Why does it bother me that Angela is one of them? And you should turn your phone back on. Drew makes his eyes big at me. Axel's looking for you. He can kiss my ass, I grunt and Carol gapes at me. You shouldn't say things like that, Carol says with big eyes. You will get into trouble. Honestly, Carol, I don't care, I say nonchalantly, and I mean it. If he didn't go all Hulk on the door last night, he wouldn't have sent people at the crack of dawn to fix it. And I would have been in a much more pleasant and compliant mood. Why did he break the door? Drew chuckles mischievously. Did you lock yourself in there by accident? It was no accident, I grunt. He was overbearing, and I needed space. I never heard of such a thing, Carol laughs nervously. No woman in her right mind will treat the future alpha like that and get away with it. She didn't get away with it, Drew laughs heartedly. That's why he broke down the door. And nearly gave me a heart attack in doing so, I join in the laughter. But why, Liana? Drew cuts off his wife and he looks at me seriously. Jokes aside, phone Axel. It's about your father. Excuse me, I mumble as I get up and rush to my room to get my phone. Why did Drew not say that when he got here? Hastily I turn on my phone and stare in horror at all the messages and missed calls. Even my mother has phoned. With trembling fingers, and my heart beating in my throat, I dial Axel's number. Where have you been? Axel answers without saying hello. At home, I whimper as I sit down on my bed. I forgot to switch my phone back on. Your father's surgery has been moved up to this afternoon, he barks in my ear. Drew will take you to the hospital. Oh, okay, I stutter as I process the information. You need to leave in 30 minutes, he says and ends the call without waiting for my reply. Shit, I mumble as I get up and run to the kitchen. My dad's surgery has been moved up and, I know, Liana, Drew says calmly. Get ready, I'm waiting right here. Thanks, I shout as I dart to my room. I take the quickest shower recorded in history and brush my teeth. I put on the same dress that I was wearing earlier. I do not have anything else suitable for the hospital that will cover the hickey. I brush my hair and tie it into a ponytail. I'm ready, I shout as I grab my handbag and sandals. Let's go, Drew smiles as he walks to the car. Where's Carol? I ask as I lock the door. She already went home, he explains as he holds the passenger door open for me and I get it. I like her, I admit as Drew starts the engine. So do I, Drew chuckles as he brings the car into motion. You were right about Axel, I say as I put on my sandals. He's not happy. Can you blame him? Drew asks gently. You've been ignoring him the entire morning. He asked for it, I snort as I take out a hand mirror to apply makeup. Liana, Drew sighs heavily. This is none of my business and I swore I wouldn't get involved, but you shouldn't treat Axel like this. It's not fair. Drew, I know you mean well, I look at him. But my relationship with Axel is complicated, and, you're sleeping with him, Drew surprises me. How did you know? I gape at him. I am not even going to bother denying it. I did the math, he grins. Axel won't tolerate an employee disrespecting him like you do. I feel so ashamed, I admit softly before I confess everything. Talking about it takes a mountain off my shoulders, but at the same time, embarrassment and disgrace fill me. I'm a despicable person, I wring my fingers together and avoid looking at Drew. I cannot bear to see the disappointment on his face. Don't be so hard on yourself, he surprises me. I've known Axel my entire life and now I know your story. You approached him for a loan. He's the one that propositioned you. Axel would never pay a woman to sleep with him. He likes you, Liana. That's the only logical explanation. That's just stupid, I protest, but I cannot deny the slither of excitement. If he liked me, he would have said so and asked me on a date or something. And would you have said yes? Drew asks softly. I do not answer him, and I look out of the window at the passing scenery. Truth be told, I would have said no. How can I possibly go on a date with a man when I am still pining over Wyatt? Chapter 19 Liana POV I am a nervous wreck by the time we stop at the hospital. Dad is about to have major surgery and I worry about him, and if that was not enough, Drew's words taunted and mocked me. I'll walk with you, Drew says as he parks the car. No, please don't, I say hastily. When my mother sees you, she will have questions and I cannot deal with her today. I understand, he nods. Good luck. Thank you, Drew, the words come from my heart. I mean it, for everything, thank you. I'm here for you, okay. He looks at me sympathetically and I lean over to hug him. I bite back the tears as I get out of the car and walk to the entrance. Drew is a combination of a best friend and a father, and I adore him for that. Talking to him without judgment was a stress reliever and I am incredibly emotional right now. Liana, I hear my name and I gape in surprise at Nina that is coming my way. What on earth are you doing here? I ask happily as I hug her. I'm your support, dummy, she smiles brightly as she hooks her arm around mine and together, we walk to my father's room. Axel arranged with my boss for a day off. Isn't that considerate? Discover related topics lyrics of Love Me My Love Eliana pronounce Love Me lyrics wow, yeah, I say as I swallow the guilt. I have been nothing but rude to him today and he still does the sweetest thing. Having my best friend here is more than I could ever have hoped for. Axel is going to be a great alpha, Emma sighs dreamily. I just hope he finds a mate that's worthy of him. Her words make me uncomfortable, but I cannot show it. I have never thought about it, but what will happen to me if he finds his mate within these 6 months? He will not even look my way and kick me out. Liana, Mom walks to me as we enter the waiting room and hugs me. You're finally here. Hi Mom, I smile. You look good. Thank you, she thrives under my compliment. Your brother won $5,000 with the horses, and he treated me with a spa day. That's nice, I smile stiffly as uneasiness gnaws at me. Any sentence containing the words Leon and horses are bound to end in tragedy. Do you have cash? Mom looks at me. I want to buy a cup of coffee. Sure, I reach into my purse and take out my last $5 and hand it over to her. Thanks, honey, she beams. Now go see your father. He's been asking for you. She hasn't changed one bit, Nina snorts as Mom disappears down the hall. Yeah, I sigh as I enter Dad's room and leave Nina behind. Hi, Daddy, I say softly as I take a seat next to his bed. Princess, you came, his breathing is shallow, but his eyes are still bright and alive. How can I not? My lip starts quivering as I take his fragile hand into mine. You're my favorite person in the world. Liana, Dad looks at me seriously. Thank you, for making this operation possible. I know, oh, Dad, I cut him off and squeeze his hand tightly. You can thank me by getting better. What happened with Wyatt? Dad struggles. Dad, don't exhaust yourself, I say quickly. Conserve your strength. Must, no, he insists. He fell in love with somebody else, I shrug. It happens. I'll kill him, Dad's eyes start blazing. Dad, let it go, I sigh. I have. There's no use in dwelling on it. It won't change anything. Bastard, Dad huffs and I cannot help but smile. Father has never done anything other than to love me unconditionally. When Mom was in a bad mood and took it out on me, he was the one that stepped in. I made new friends, I try to cheer him up as I tell him about Drew and Carol. I also describe my cottage, but I am very careful not to mention Axel in any capacity other than an employer. I'm happy, Daddy, I smile. Really, you shouldn't worry about me. The door opens and an orderly enters. It's time, he says as he walks to Dad's bed. We're going to prep you for the operation. Good luck, Dad. I stand up and kiss him gently on his forehead. I love you, Dad smiles. I love you more. I let go of his hand. And I will be right here when you wake up. I bite back the tears as I walk out of his room. I love him so much and I am so nervous about this operation. You need coffee, Nina says the instant she sees me. I need wine, I whimper as I walk into her embrace. But they don't have any, she rolls her eyes as she drags me to the cafeteria. How did your date go with Wilson? I ask to distract myself from Dad's operation. I'm seeing him again tonight, she smiles dreamily. He's perfect. Do you think you're mates? I ask curiously. If we're not, we should be, she grins from ear to ear. I'm so into him. That's Liana. The voice sends shivers up my spine and I swing around to face a snarling Gwen who clings to Wyatt like a trophy. What are you doing here? Nina grunts before I can say a word. Removing some warts? They missed one. I don't recall talking to you, Gwen sneers at Nina before she turns to me. Seems you can't go anywhere these days without a watchdog fighting your battles. It's called friends, Nina smiles sarcastically. A term you're not familiar with. What do you want, Gwen? I cross my arms in front of my chest and glare at her. I only wanted to say hello, she laughs softly. There's no need to be so hostile. Okay, goodbye then. I turn around to leave but Wyatt grabs my elbow and I stare at his hand in disbelief. If you want to keep that hand, you better remove it, I hiss as I look at him. How cute, Gwen giggles. She's threatening you. I jerk my elbow free. I'm here to see your father, Wyatt surprises me. Why? I frown. You never liked my parents and how do you even know he's here? Because it's the decent thing to do, Wyatt replies. He shouldn't be punished for what you've done. For what I've done? I raise my eyebrows. You despicable little man. Do us all a favor and tug that enormous ego of yours up your ass. Stay away from me and my family. Believe me, my father doesn't want to see you. Not according to Leon, Wyatt smiles smugly. They're all too grateful for the money I send. You gave my brother money? I ask flabbergasted as anger surges through me. I am going to kill Leon when I see him. Of all the moronic things you've done, this one takes the cake. Even cheating on me makes more sense than giving Leon money. Well, he promised you'll pay it back, Wyatt shrugs. Yeah, right, I snort. Good luck with that. This is not my problem. I turn around to leave and look straight into Axel's eyes. The look on his face is enough to mummify and bury a man on the spot. I do not think I have any person this angry before. What's Axel doing here? Gwen whispers behind me and Wyatt quickly hushes her. I am frozen on the spot trying to decide if I should run or hide when Axel walks towards us with determined strides. Am I interrupting? Axel's voice is as cold as his eyes, and I cannot master anything other than shaking my head. We were just leaving, Nina comes to my rescue, but Axel looks at her and she lowers her gaze. Or not, she mumbles under her breath. Wyatt, Axel directs his attention to him. Are you here to discuss repayment terms? Yes, Wyatt stutters. And how much will you be repaying Liana? Axel asks sternly and I must blink a couple of times to focus. What is he talking about? Axel, you misunderstand, Wyatt chuckles nervously. She's repaying me. Why? Axel crosses his arms and I look at Wyatt that is suddenly 2 shades paler. For the 5,000 her brother borrowed from me, Wyatt replies, but he is not as nearly as confident as he was a moment ago. Did you know anything about that? Axel turns to me, and I shake my head. Wyatt, then it seems you're talking to the wrong person, Axel continues. This brings me back to my original question. How much are you repaying her? I don't owe her anything, Wyatt gapes for air like a fish on land. Not even for her clothes you destroyed. Axel raises his eyebrows and Wyatt glares at me with hatred. How does he knows that? With all due respect, Axel, Wyatt regains his composure. That's a personal matter between Liana and me. And you made it mine, Axel growls and I close my eyes as fear rips through me. I do not think I will ever get used to that sound and not shiver in my shoes. You made it my problem when you left her high and dry within our borders. How is she supposed to return after you destroyed everything she owned? Axel, I don't know what she told you, but, nothing, Axel cuts him off. She told me nothing. I had to hear it from my driver. I hereby order you to repay Liana $50,000. No way do I owe her that much. Wyatt explodes. What is the value of her scrapbook? Axel asks and Wyatt huffs as he looks at me. Thought so, Axel sneers. What about the money she owes me? Wyatt argues. She called off the wedding and I had to carry the expenses. You should have thought about that before you dipped your dick in Gwen's honeypot, Axel remarks dryly as he turns on his heels and walks away. Holy shit, Nina whispers. I have goosebumps. Did that really just happen? This is not over, Wyatt grunts as he glares at me with hatred. Not by a long shot. That's not what Axel said, Nina mocks him with pouting lips. Pay up, lover boy. Stay out of this, Wyatt snaps at her. This doesn't concern you. Wanna bet? Nina raises her eyebrows. I'm the one that cared for Liana when you dipped your dick. Whom do you think Axel will side with? My cell phone chimes in my handbag, and I reach for it like a robot. I still cannot wrap my head around what just happened. I read the message from Axel and turn to Nina. I need a moment, I say softly. I'll meet you in the cafeteria. Where are you going? She calls after me, but I ignore her and walk away as fast as I can. Chapter 20 Liana POV I walk to the underground parking of the hospital as fast as I can without looking ridiculous. I am scared to face Axel. He is furious and after the way I treated him this morning, I bet his anger is directed towards me. I shriek when someone grabs my arm and pulls me into the elevator. Axel, I exhale relieved as he closes the elevator door and presses the stop button. You scared me. Why is it that every time I turn my back, you're with Wyatt? He asks angrily. I didn't know he was going to be here, I defend myself. Are you taking me for a fool, Liana? He hisses as he steps towards me, and I retreat until my back is against the elevator's wall. I have no idea what you're talking about, I am close to tears. How could he know about your father's operation? Axel's eyes burn into mine. My brother told him, I say urgently. And you expect me to believe that? He sneers. Why would your family reach out to him after what he did to you? You don't know my brother, I mumble and lower my gaze. And I haven't told them what happened. Only my father knows. And the money your brother owes Wyatt? Axel asks. What about that? Listen, you're asking me questions for which I do not have the answers, I say angrily. Yes, I feel awful about this morning, but that does not mean I will take this line of questioning when I have not done anything wrong. Go interrogate my brother, not me. You better not be lying, he grunts as his hand curls behind my neck. I'm many things, Axel, I watch his face coming closer. Liar is not one of them. His lips are merciless and demanding and I eagerly comply as the sparks create havoc with my system. I throw my arms around his neck and push closer to him. Like every time before, my body yearns for his touch. It does not matter how mad or upset I am with him, when he touches me, my body overpowers my cognitive. He pulls up my dress and I spread my legs slightly to make way for his hand. My knees go weak when he slips his finger inside me, and I tighten my grip around his neck. He glides his finger in and out a few times before he starts rubbing me and I moan against his lips. It is not long before my body convulses against his as he brings me to OM. His arms go around my waist and keep me upright as he feverishly kisses me again. I'm sorry about this morning, I gasp for air as his lips trail along my jawline to my neck. I shouldn't have ignored you. This is your last and only warning, he murmurs as he pulls away. If I ever catch you with another man, there will be pay. I look at him with big eyes as he steps away and unlocks the elevator. There are so many things I want to say, but the cold look on his face warns me to remain quiet. Goodbye, Liana, he walks out of the elevator, and I want to cry. I wanted to apologize. I wanted to thank him. Instead, I am alone and miserable in an empty elevator. I drag myself back into the hospital. The very last thing I want to do is face people, but I have no alternative. At least no one expects me to be happy. I do not say a word as Drew, and I drive back home. Dad's operation was a success, and he should be discharged within the next 5 days. But not even that could cheer me up. Ever since Axel walked away, I feel cold and empty. You shouldn't worry, Drew breaks the silence. Your dad will be fine. I'm not worried, my voice is emotionless. I'm just tired. Are you sure that's it? Drew frowns. Yeah, I smile weakly. I didn't sleep much last night and it's been a stressful day. Also, I had to endure my mother and her guilt trips. When can I send the money? How are they supposed to survive with Dad still recovering and out of commission? Leon's winnings will only last so long. If she only knew it was not winnings but more debt. Not that she would have believed me. Leon can do no wrong in her eyes. Ah, young love, Drew winks at me and I blush a little. Cut it out, I mumble, and he laughs heartedly. Are you mad at me for telling Axel what Wyatt did? Drew asks after a moment of silence. No, I sigh. I don't care that he knows. But it is a little humiliating to be involved in such drama. I wish Axel did not know. It is really embarrassing that a man tossed me and my belonging aside like trash. I am acutely aware of my poor background and oversensitive about it. I worked extremely hard to get away from those circumstances and I hate to be reminded. Not to mention that Leon borrowed money from my ex-fiancé. Axel must think we are nothing better than leeches. Are you sure you're okay? Drew asks concerned when he stops in front of my cottage. You don't look well. I'm fine, just exhausted, I fake a smile as I say goodnight and get out of the car. I go inside and stare at the dump that is my room. I never had time to clean up this morning. With a sigh, I start straightening up. I will die of shame if Axel comes by and thinks I live like a pig. Once I am done, I take a shower and put on fresh, lacy underwear. Satisfied that I am presentable when Axel comes over, I put on silky pajamas and climb into bed. I am too tired to wait up for him. The sun is high in the sky when I wake up. Confused, I wipe my eyes and reach for my phone. Did I sleep so soundly that I did not hear Axel? He is going to be so mad. But there are no messages or missed calls on my phone. I do not understand why I feel disappointed and hurt. It is not like we are in a relationship and that he owes me an explanation or anything. I stand up and get dressed before I go to the kitchen. I have not eaten properly yesterday, and I am starving. I make scrambled eggs and toast, but when I take out the milk for my coffee, it is sour. I throw the milk away and enjoy my breakfast with black coffee before I clean up the kitchen. I take my handbag and spill its contents on the kitchen table. I know there is no money in my wallet. I gave the last to Mom. I rub my temples where a headache is developing before I put everything back. I do not have a penny on me. I have reached the point that I have been dreading for weeks. I am broke. For a moment I toy with the card that Axel gave me. I could use this and replace the money once I find a job. But I shake my head and put it back. No, I am not going to do it. That would be wrong, and then I really would be a gold digger. It was never part of the deal, and if I accept it, I would be taking advantage of him. Our agreement was strictly a loan for Dad. Besides, it is not like am I about to starve. There are plenty of groceries left in the cupboards. I sent Drew a message and ask him to take me to town before I fix my hair and makeup. The time has come for me to find a job. I am tired and irritated by the time I get home. I have walked the streets tiredly and finally got a waitressing job, which I am extremely grateful for. After that, I went to visit Dad. Seeing him recover was the highlight of my day. But the main source of my foul mood is Axel's silence. It is now more than 24 hours since I last heard or seen of him. I keep on wondering where he is, and for some reason, Angela's face pops up. It is driving me insane. And I will rather die than ask Drew if he knows where Axel is. I do not want him to think I care. I eat a sandwich and clean up before I take my drawing pad and pencil. I close my eyes for a moment and smile as an image pops up in my head and I eagerly start drawing. After a couple of tries, I toss the drawing pad aside. Not even this is helping. I take out my phone and type Axel a message. Hi, I changed my mind. Please cancel our agreement regarding my studies. It was a stupid idea. It is nothing more than doodles and a hobby. It's not worth the money. I stare at the message for a moment before I press send. It breaks my heart, but it is for the better. I cannot study and work full-time. Once I am settled in my new job, I will sign up for night classes after the 6-month agreement. I stare at my phone, but the message does not go through to Axel. Frustrated, I toss my phone aside. Where is